What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for a hopefully very informative how-to video on how you can actually use voice commands to control GSPro, either in replace of a control box. In addition to, I use a keyboard and mouse, and I just tried this out today for the first time for a live stream, and it seems to work really good. So this is going to be a two-part video. The beginning part here is going to be going through all my commands. I'm going to show you here just in a brief second all the different commands that work really well. And then the part two, I'll end this part and I'll edit it together. The part two will be what I'm planning on doing is uninstalling the program and going through the initial setup again, kind of step by step. So this beginning part, you guys will kind of see the capabilities of it, how I have it set up. If you're technically inclined and you feel comfortable doing it, it's not that complicated. You can do it yourself and kind of give you some inspiration of maybe some of the commands that you may want to do. And then part two for people that are looking for kind of a step-by-step walkthrough to possibly set it up. That part will be for you. But before we start doing any of the commands, shout out to Whiskey Rich, aka Black Swing Golf. He was the one that initially put me onto this. I've seen other people do it in the past, and it seemed like this was a little bit of a trend about a year, 2 years ago. But it seemed like people haven't really been using it much. And yesterday I did a trying to break Scotty Scheffler's course record challenge, and I had unlimited mulligans, so I kept doing Control M, I think it was, to go back and forth with the keyboard. It was kind of a pain, but Whiskey Rich, after the fact, showed me how his works and how he had it set up. He actually sent me his commands. I didn't end up using them. And also shout out to Ben, Triple Bogey Golf. He also has a video on this, the same program. I believe Whiskey Rich was the one, or I believe Ben was the one who originally gave Whiskey Rich the command. So major shout out to Ben. It seems like a lot of this really technical, tech savvy stuff, some way or another, comes from Triple Bogey. So major shout out to Ben. But let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to show you guys some of the commands I have. The program is called Voice Attack. It's free if you want to get it. You can do 20 commands for free. There's some limited capabilities of it, but I don't think I'll end up upgrading. If you want to buy the full program, it's only $10 one time. So if this is something that you want to set up multiple different profiles, use it for different programs, you can do really sophisticated things, which I think Triple Bogey did, as well as Black Swing, to be able to use the voice command to turn on your entire system, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I'm going to keep it to kind of the shortcuts and the things that I use most often on GSPro. But we're here at Gilded Dunes. I have mouse mode enabled. Figured this course would be good, visually appealing for you guys to watch me go through some of this stuff. But I have written down, I went through some of this on the live stream today, and I was using it. It seemed to work really well. But as far as the commands, I'll just go through them and you guys can see it in action here. So aim left. You can see the toggle box moved over. Aim left. Aim right. Aim right. Reset. Flyover. And I was trying this out, so if you guys are worried, maybe if you do live streams or anything else like me, if you're talking and like reading chat and responding to people, you need to give yourself at least like a second or two in between commands and say it very clearly for it to pick up on it. So if I happen to say I'm aiming left in the middle of a sentence, you can see how that didn't pick up. And you can even say like flyover in the middle of a sentence, and even that, it's sophisticated enough for it to be able to pick up. And I'm using you can maybe see it on my hat, the same mic that I use for OBS for Discord, recording any video, streaming any videos. I'm using that same exact mic, so there's no kind of interference. If you already have a mic set up for streaming, it works really well. But we'll go through the rest of these commands. This first section will be kind of short, but just kind of want to show you guys some of the capabilities. So we did the aim, two of the aims, the aim left and aim right, and I also have just plain left and right. Those are kind of repetitive. You can remove them, and you can edit any of these that you want. It's pretty much endless possibilities, but we'll go back and go through the rest of the commands. Left, left 5. So that moves you way over. You can do anything. I'll show you how to do the commands. You can have it set to repeat multiple times. You can move it over as much or as little as you want. I have the heat map set up. I can do it here. You'll see it on the mini map over here. It'll show. I can hit a ball and we can get up to the green and I can show you, but map. So over here you can see heat map showed up. Map. Now it goes away. Again, pretty responsive. It picks it up, everything really well. This next one, I'll have to hit a shot here to demonstrate it. So not a good tee shot, topped it off the tee, but this was going to come in useful yesterday. I wish I had it. Mulligan brings you right back. I showed you guys the reset, but we'll do it again. Right. That one I said too quick. I didn't give myself probably a second or two before talking. Right. Right. Reset. Right 5. Reset. Scorecard. Scorecard. Scout. Left 5. Right 5. Scout. This one I think I'll probably use the most often. This one's really nice. T left. You can see down here, move myself over. T right. And this final one for when you're on the fringe, I can get up there and hit a couple shots into the fairway with mouse mode. But if you look down here on the bottom left, this one's nice for when you're on the fringe and maybe you want to putt through the fringe. I would always have to go over here into shot options and click it. But this one's not bad either. Toggle putter. And you can see down here it changed from driver to putter. You can set any of these commands however you want. I changed around some of the words. Some people speak more clearly than others. They have different pronunciations. So maybe on one of them, maybe you say a word slightly different than what a computer's used to. You can set them for anything you want, and you can do any of the hotkeys that you want. So maybe instead of scout, you do J or jump or anything in between. You can change any of the wording, and it'll pick up on it pretty good. Toggle putter. So that one goes back. We'll get up to the green. Again, you saw most of that, but just for the heat map, when we get up there, this will be able to see, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But that's about it for the beginning part. Again, for people that are tech savvy, you can figure out a lot of this stuff by yourself. You don't need me to walk you through how to set it up, which again is not that bad. But for people that are looking for kind of a step-by-step and set it up exactly how I have it, I will do that for you. Mouse mode's kind of tough. I was initially planning on, I took a screenshot, which I will add. I'll probably put like a link. I'll put it in the Discord and also maybe do a link to like a Google Drive. Because I'm on the free version, I can't export any of my commands for you to easily import them. That's, I guess, one of the paid capabilities. But I'll put a screenshot of all the commands that I have set up, so you'll see the name of them and the exact command. Once I go through the second part, you'll see it's really easy to do. You just click which key you want, how many times, if any, that kind of thing. But now we're by the green. The only thing I really wanted to show you is just map. So again, heat map pulls up, pretty cool. And again, you can say any of these things in the middle of a sentence, like I want to look at the scorecard. And even if it's in the middle of a sentence or you happen to be saying something, it's not so sensitive where it picks up an individual word in the middle of a sentence if you're talking to someone or you're responding to anyone, anything like that. If you're talking in a random or a regular stream of sentences with words, it's not going to just aim you randomly way left, way right, take a mulligan if it's not turned on, anything like that. But if you give yourself a second to reset, just like a second in between the two, I can bring myself back and I can start toggling these things back and forth again. Map, mulligan, so that brought me back. Right 5, scout, scout, left 5, left 5, reset. So that's about it. Probably the one thing that I didn't add, which I could, is just the sim drop option. If you're in trouble, you can maybe do that instead of clicking it twice if you want to do anything like that. But you can train it to have the really sophisticated stuff between having it to start your GSPro. You can run a program. You can train your mouse to where it goes to a section on the screen, so you can say something like practice range. It'll automatically bring you to the practice range and start it if you train your mouse clicks and all that kind of stuff. Personally, like I said, I'll probably leave it to these basic commands just to save a little bit of time, but I think the T thing is really nice to where I'm grabbing a club, resetting myself on the next tee box. I just say T left and it moves me way over, and it seems to work really well. So that's going to wrap it up for the first section. Again, for those technically inclined people, the program is called Voice Attack. It's free to download. You get 20 commands. I think I have 15 in here right now, so I even have room, even with the left and aim left, that's a little bit repetitive. You can get rid of those. I'll probably end up doing like right 10, maybe right 3, right 8, a couple of those in between. If you're so inclined, you can pay the $10 and get the full version. It just opens up to have unlimited profiles, and you can have unlimited commands if you want to do something like that. But that's going to wrap up this early part. Hopefully you guys get a good idea of what this is capable of, and I think I'm going to be using it for the near future. We were talking about the other day when I was doing the stream about control boxes, which people rave about, and they say it's really awesome. I don't have one, but people say it's awesome until you get to the green, which is a little bit touchy. In terms of clicking it left and right, that kind of stuff with the aim. So a lot of people still use their keyboard or mouse to be able to aim on the green, and it seems like that's the case here too. I just said I was going to wrap it up, but if we get on the green, I'll show you. It's a little bit touchy. As you would expect, trying to aim with this, but I have it set to one single keystroke, so if we aim left and right, it shouldn't be too bad. Right? So that's about as minimal as you can press it. That would be the same if I just touched the keyboard like that. I just tapped the keyboard left, and it's moving about the same amount, just a regular keystroke. Left, left, left 5. So that moves you way out. You can still definitely use it, but personally I think for me, I'll probably use a lot of this stuff up until the green, and then I'll still just aim like I usually do, either with the mouse or the keyboard, depending if I'm playing by myself or doing a scramble. But alright, this is officially going to wrap up this part. Next part, I'm going to cut it in right after this. I'm going to be going through uninstalling the program and likely reinstalling it and walking you guys through step by step how to set it up if you'd like to see that. So, appreciate you guys watching. If you're dropping off at this point, I'll figure out how to post a screenshot of my commands if you want to easily copy them. It should take you 5 minutes or less to be able to do it, and we'll get a little more in depth in this next section. See you guys over there. Alright folks, we're back with the second part of the video. I'm just going to attach this to the end, kind of a step-by-step walkthrough of how to set everything up. So what I did is I uninstalled the entire program. I have a screenshot right here of all my commands. We'll go through this at the end, but unfortunately I can't export my commands. There's an option to import them with the free version, but I couldn't export them. But these are all the commands that if anyone wants to use, I'll find a way to attach this picture. And I did notice in the first part, I watched some of it back, and there was like a notification ding when some of the commands went through. I didn't notice that when I set it up and tested it last night, and I didn't hear that either when I was live streaming to use it on GSPro for real. Not sure what that was, but I did look through some of the settings, and I think I know how to turn that off. I just wanted to add that, but let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to watch this back after. If I happen to show any kind of like personal information or anything that I don't want shown, you may see some parts of it that maybe I have to black out after the fact. But I think for the most part, I have everything to where we should be able to walk through. I have my screen that's sharing right now, so you should be able to see everything that I'm doing and clicking on, and basically set this up together for the second time. So I set it up last night. Hopefully I remember how to do most of the stuff and any of the options that I selected. I have some notes written down, but I uninstalled stuff. So, like I mentioned in the first part, it's called Voice Attack, voiceattack.com. You just Google Voice Attack here. This is the website. This is, again, going to be pretty easy. Hopefully this goes pretty quick, but you just go to download. Again, if you want to purchase it, it's $10, and you own it. So there's no like recurring. If you want to have multiple things, you can do it. Maybe if it's something that you find worthwhile, you'll spend the $10. I don't know if I necessarily need it. We'll see in the future, but you just go to download right here. Click here to download Voice Attack 64-bit. I'm on Windows. I think a lot of you are that use GSPro. So we're going to download it. I already have it downloaded. I made a separate folder, but it downloaded into my folders. If I go here, this is now the installer. So that's where you're going to see that in your downloads folder. We're going to go ahead and double click this. Do you want the app to make changes? That's pretty standard. I did scan all this stuff beforehand with my antivirus, so you never know some of these programs. I did scan all the stuff beforehand last night when I set everything up, so everything should be fine. And I did install this thing too, so your computer may be different. Maybe you already have this, but it's saying voice attack requires Microsoft.NET 8 in order to run. So it's telling you you can do it yourself, or if you click yes, it'll bring you over. So you can click yes, it'll bring you to the same page, but I wanted to show you here. So we're going to click no, and the second page that I have up over here, if you just type in Windows Net 8, I actually downloaded the first one wrong. Again, your computer may already have it, so maybe you don't get that error message, but if you just type in Windows Net 8, you could also press yes there on that message box, and it'll bring you over to this same page. Last night, I was looking at this, I was like, all right, which one is which? But it says you want the desktop. Initially, I downloaded this one. That was just the first one. That wasn't correct. You want the Net Desktop Runtime 8.0.18. So you're going to click Installer down here, the Windows x64. It's going to be the same thing. It just downloaded, it popped up. I moved that over as well. So that's right here. We're going to go ahead and double click the installer to install this. It's going to ask if it wants to make changes to the computer. We're going to say yes. And that's about it for that. So that's installed. Now you go back to the voice attack installer. Same thing. We don't get that error message this time. Now we're in the setup wizard. A lot of this stuff you can read through it if you want. Accept the terms and conditions. Next, we'll add the program files. You can change wherever you want that. We'll press next. We'll create a desktop shortcut. Next. And install. So that was about it. Again, this stuff is pretty easy. So launch voice attack, press finish. So you get this message every single time you start it. It's basically saying you can register it if you pay for it. Obviously, they're trying to sell the $10 things, but personally, I don't think you need it. You get 20 free commands. So we're just going to press go. And these are all the tips. You can read through some of this stuff. You can toggle it to where it doesn't show the tips anymore, but you can read through. I'm not going to waste your time going through all this stuff. This is just different commands, different profiles, how to get the mouse involved. You can start different programs, all this kind of stuff, but we're going to press close. And this is saying, I did have this written down. It's saying sometimes, I think it's probably computer dependent, it works better if you run it on System Administrator. So the way you would do that is, if I move this over here, if any of the program that you want to run, you just right click it and it says run as administrator. I've done both as the administrator using this program and not. It seemed to work fine both ways, but if you possibly have any errors or it's not working the way you want it to, you just, on your desktop shortcut, you just right click and click run as administrator, and that should work. I'm going to say don't show this again. Now we are in voice attack. So, oh, it actually did save. Oh, it saved all my stuff. So I tried to uninstall it so we could go back from square one, but I guess, so you can see it's actually picking up on some of my stuff. So it didn't bring me through. I tried my best. I wanted to go through all the initial dialogue things. One of the initial ones that it'll pop up is showing that you want to install, or maybe it installed it with it, the Microsoft speech recognition software. It probably did it for you. And then I remember early on there was a message that came up saying, do you want to train it? And you definitely want to do that. So last night I actually did it twice. It takes about 5 minutes each time. There's just a box that comes up and you read line by line. So it's training the software and your computer to pick up on how you say things. If I remember, there's a way to go back in and retrain it again. I'll probably do it one more time, but it did seem to help. I did it one time, it seemed to work pretty good, and then I did it a second time, and it seemed like the commands were even picked up on it even more accurately. So you probably won't have any kind of profile up here. It may show you that you have like a demo possibly. What you can do is it's only going to give you one option for a profile. So if you click this button right here, you can edit your profile. What I did was I changed mine. It was whatever, I don't know, I can't remember initially what it said. I changed it to GSPro, and I just clicked, like, you can change it to whatever you want. You just click apply and done. So you may want to change that. You can leave it whatever the default is. In terms of the settings, I did want to show you guys some of this stuff. So hopefully all these, the reason I have my screen sharing, hopefully it's picking up on all these individual like pop-up windows. But the notification sounds that I mentioned, I think those dings, I think that's probably this. So I didn't notice it when I was playing, and when I set it up yesterday, I didn't notice it. If you guys get those ding noises and you don't want them, that's probably there. You can probably just disable it. In terms of the settings, I didn't really change anything in this. So you can start it if you when you start the program when you log into Windows. If you want, I don't have it. You can see my settings here. Global profiles, system default, no joystick. In terms of recognition, system default. It's picking up my mic. So whatever mic you have, especially if you have an external one like I do that's clipped onto my hat, it should be able to pick it up, and you should be able to, if it doesn't, you can pick which one you want, whether you're using maybe your projector possibly has a microphone, if you have a separate camera set up, or if you want to use the mic built into your computer. You're going to probably have to be pretty close to it, so I think these cheap wireless mics, you can get them for 10-15 bucks on Amazon. I would recommend it if this is something you're going to use a lot. So depending on you're moving around in the sim, you don't have to be right next to your computer talking directly at it for the mic to pick it up. I can be facing away from the computer on the opposite side of the garage kind of thing. And because the mic's plugged in, it'll do it exactly. It'll pick up exactly, and it doesn't have to be like right next to the computer. So I didn't even change anything here. I just have it set to my mic. Audio. I don't think I changed anything here. Again, I think that notification sound. Hotkeys, I didn't change anything. System, I didn't change anything either. One thing that I did change was in this profile here. So when you go to edit, you have options. One thing that I did want was, instead of its defaulted down here, send commands to the target. So it's defaulted to active window, meaning whatever window you're currently clicked on. I didn't want to have possibly any issues with OBS or any other programs that I use having like one of these words pop up and maybe like stop recording or whatever. So what I did was I did it to a specific target, and I added GSPro. So you can see some of this other stuff up here that I have open. You can select a certain thing, but I wanted it to go only to GSPro. I think that's a worthwhile thing. That's really the only thing in settings that I changed. I didn't change any of this stuff, so you can look, and yours should match all this stuff. I would just recommend, unless you want it to do anything more sophisticated, like starting GSPro, like double-clicking an application, or like turning on things on your computer, you'll probably have to look to do more sophisticated things. But for me, I'm only ever going to use it in GSPro, so I wanted it there. Besides that, you can import commands. I can maybe talk to either Triple Bogey or Whiskey Rich, aka Black Swing Golf. Maybe Whiskey Rich actually sent me his. I can give you those commands if you want. You can import them. So you just look for a file, and this is actually the one that he sent here. Hosel Rocket. It's a VAP file, I guess. You can import them, but I'm going to show you how to do these here. These are easy enough to do. So I was going to plan on redoing these anyway, so we're just going to delete them all, and I'll show you how quick it is to add these. So I just deleted them all. We're going to press apply, done. So this is still picking some of the stuff up. Before we add the commands, I want to see if there's a way here. You can stop commands if you ever want to. I haven't done that. There's a way here that I did it last night to further train the voice. Generate export, click here to learn about alternative speech recognition. So here it is. This is what it was. So I clicked on we'll do it again just so everyone's clear. Settings down below. Recognition. This is set to system default. You want to click on the little eye here, and you can read through this, but it's showing you that you can do the Windows Speech Engine Training Utility. So this, it'll probably prompt you. This is what popped up the first time I downloaded it last night to be able to train it. So I did this twice. I did it the first time, and then I went back in here and I did it a second time. I'll probably do it one more time after I'm done with this. The more you do it and the more you talk, the better the program and the better the system gets at picking up exactly how you pronounce things and how you talk. But basically, where'd it go? So here, this is what you would see. So basically, these sentences just pop up, and you just follow along, and it'll proceed to the next. Oh, we're gonna press cancel. One thing that I did, well, I'll do this one more time and show you. One thing that I did notice. All right, why is this not? One thing I did notice is if you read the sentence, sometimes I did it like 5 times, and for whatever reason it didn't want to advance me. You just click the pause button, which I'll show you here in a second, and you press resume. If you say it again, it'll go. So if you get stuck on any of these sentences, I would recommend that. That's right here. This pause button, if you get stuck on any of these where it's not recognizing it, you just press pause and then resume, and it'll go back. So that's probably why it knows that I'm not saying anything, so anything remotely close to what the sentence is. So I'll just show you a couple of them here. But you just go through. It takes about 5 minutes to read through them. I am now speaking to my computer. The computer is learning the sound of my voice as I speak. This will help the computer better recognize what I say. But you get the idea. You just go through, you read out the sentence. It better helps to train the program. Because I uninstalled it, it must have saved some of my stuff. So maybe I'll do that a couple more times. The more the better, and it just helps to train the program. But besides that, let's go in and just do some of the commands. I'll add all mine back, and we'll do them together. So I have this right here. This will help. So we'll just go through them, and I'll show you how to add each one. So the first one will be aim left. So we're going to go back up here. We're going to do add. I'm in my GSPro. New command. You type whatever you want it to say. You can do left, aim left, any type of word. Numbers will work, anything like that. But aim left. So what I want to do is key press. And all you do is you click the left arrow one time, and you'll see it right here. Left. So that's it. Okay. So now aim left, what it'll send it to GSPro is press left key and hold for 0.1 seconds. Basically, it's just your standard key press. And that's it for that. So you press OK. You would press apply if you want to do it. I already showed you guys at the beginning with GSPro, so I'm not going to go back in after the fact to show you how to use it. But if you wanted to, what I did was I had GSPro open at the same time as I was putting these in and testing it, and it did work. But you would just you would add it, press apply, press done, and it would bring you back. And this is still all picking up everything that I'm saying, but because I'm not saying an actual command, it's all unrecognized. But now I just put in that one command. If I give myself like 2 seconds before talking, it'll show up here and show like green, I think it is. Aim left. There we go. So recognize aim left, unable to give the target commands because GSPro is not open. But we're going to go back in again. Edit profile up here. We're in GSPro. We're going to add the rest of these. So we'll do all these together now. New command. Aim right. Key press. You press the right arrow one time. It shows right. Press OK. Now we got 2 commands in there. Fly over. Actually, let me see. Did I do 1 word or 2? Some of this stuff I split up when I was testing. So like fly over as 1 word or doing fly space over. Some things may work better than others. We'll press apply and done. So I did 2 words. So I did fly over 2 words. Scorecard, I tried separating it. All the rest should be pretty self-explanatory. But what I was doing, you can see all these here. We'll go through them. But what I did was I pulled up GSPro and I pressed tab for the shortcuts to remember what exactly all these were. But obviously the ones that you use all the time, like J, I know O's flyover, you kind of have those memorized. So we'll go back into voice, attack. We'll edit, add a new command. Now I did key press, and I'm just going to select on the keyboard O. So that's going to be flyover. Press OK. That's good to go. Now we're going to do left, key press, press the left button on the keyboard. OK. I mentioned before, some of these are repetitive, so you could get rid of, if you don't want to say aim left or aim right, you can just do left or right. If you're running out of commands and you have stuff, you can just do one or the other. But I figured if I'm talking to it, and I wrote down all the commands just for when I was playing, so I remember which one was which because I changed some. But you could do, if you want to do like more left, aim more left, any kind of combination of words that you would think that you're more likely to say and remember, you can just do it that way. But this one now will be cool. So we're going to do aim left 5. So what it's going to do, these ones that we put in here, aim left and left, it was just one single key press. Now for this aim left, or for the left 5, I'm going to put it in as, it's going to press basically the left key 5 different times. So if you're in the fairway and you want to move over more than others, you can do it to left 3, left 10, any kind of number that you want. But we're going to do new command, type out left 5 up top. Now key press left, and what we're going to do is, where was that? Okay, so that looks the same, and right down here, repeating. So you could just copy and paste it, but I think what works better is if you repeat it, specify number of times, and 5. So left 5, you want it 5 times. If you did left 10, you would change that 5 down here to 10. Pretty self-explanatory. You can do anything in between, anything more, anything less. So that works good there. So we got those down. I did map for heat map. You can try heat map. I was having some issues. Maybe I don't pronounce it good enough, and that was before I did the second round of training. But I just have map. I think what you want to do is do things as shorthand as possible, so you're not saying like 5 words for it to be able to execute a command. So I'll probably end up honestly getting rid of aim left and aim right and just go left and right. But you want it to be like a few syllables, one syllable, just like quick one words, so you're not sitting there saying, please aim left 5 times for me. And it's kind of repetitive, so you want to make the kind of one word, quick commands. But we'll do the heat map now. So new command. Again, I'm walking you guys through all these. You can kind of get the idea. You can set it to whatever you want, but I'm going to type map up top, key press. Y is the shortcut for heat map in GSPro, so I pressed Y on the keyboard. It changed it right here. Press OK. Press OK. So now these should all start to be matching up to, we'll press apply, done. All those now should be matching up to this right here from what I originally had them set at. Hopefully I didn't accidentally do like left or right. I'll double check them after, but we'll go through and do the rest of them. Again, edit here up top. We're in the GSPro profile. New command. We have mulligan, which is Control M. Again, sorry, I'm going back and forth. I just want to make sure. Mulligan, left control, that doesn't matter. So you have, usually most keyboards have a left control and a right control button. So I did left control M together. I'm going to hold those down together when we do this. New command, mulligan, key press. So right here, I'm going to press Control M on the keyboard. We're going to press OK. Now that matches here. Left, press left, Control M plus M key for 0.1 seconds. OK. New command, reset. So this is when, if you're aiming left and right, it's usually the A button on your keyboard to reset the aim. Again, you could do reset aim, but I think it's beneficial to keep it to one word, nice and simple. But key press the letter A on my keyboard. Okay. Now we got to do right. These were in alphabetical order when I did them, so right. Again, it's just whatever you want to say up here. You can type in whatever you want. So you could do it as sophisticated, as long, or as short as you possibly want. You could also do just like R or R5. You get the idea of whatever you want it to do. Which I may end up changing the left 5, left 10. Maybe I'll do like L, L3, L5, L10, that kind of thing. But you can do shorthand type of stuff and it works the same way. So key press, pressing the right key on my keyboard. Okay, press right key, hold for 0.1 seconds. Again, that's just one single move to the right, which works good around the green. Now we need right 5. So we're going to repeat this with the right and execute all of these besides these right 5 and the left 5 are all executed once. But down here, repeating, specify number of times, change this to 5. Okay, so now right 5, press right key and hold 0.1 times, and you can edit and delete any of these. If we edit it, it'll show it's going to do it 5 times for us. So it'll look like it's doing it all at once, but it's the 5 keystrokes in a row, as if you were clicking the keyboard 5 times to move yourself over to the right. Press apply on these just so they save. We're almost towards the end here. Scorecard is next, which is what, T, I think. T, J, C, V, and U. I'll probably forget U, but let me just write these down here so I don't have to keep going back to this picture. Scorecard is going to be T, Scout's going to be J, alright, now I don't have to keep referencing back to this picture to make sure I'm giving you guys the accurate information, but if I happen to mess anything up, I think you guys are smart enough to correct any of my mistakes if I put in the wrong key for any of these things. But we're going to do scorecard next. This one you could separate. I did it all together, so you just type out scorecard, key press. We're going to do T on the keyboard. It changed again right here. Okay, that one's in there. I like Scout for this one. I tried look, I tried jump, I tried view. Again, you may pronounce things differently than I do. Maybe one word works better for you than others, but you can call it whatever you want. Key press here, J on the keyboard. I changed it. Okay. Now we're going to go T left and T right. These I did 20 at a time because depending on the T box size, you want to move yourself all the way over one way or the other if you possibly can. And from what I do when I tee off, I move myself all the way over to the left until it stops. So you could even do like 30 on this one, but my goal was to move, if I say it one time, I want it to move me over as much as I can. And it seems like 20, when we repeat it, 20 times moving yourself over. Again, if you use the shortcuts on GSPro, C and V on the keyboard to move yourself, the T position left and right. So we're going to go new command, T left. We're going to do C on the keyboard. Okay. And we're going to again go repeat a specified number of times. And I'm going to type in 20 right here. So 20 times it'll move me over to the left until it stops, depending on how big the T box is. That one's good. We're going to do the same thing for T right. V on the keyboard. Okay. Specify number of times. 20. That's good. And now for the final one, I have toggle putter. You could just do putter, which maybe I'll change it to. I was unsure initially if it was going to be so sensitive to where if I just was mentioning something about putter or I said something like putt, maybe it would toggle it on accident. So I rarely say the word toggle. So that's why I figured that would be a good one to do, toggle putter. That's a pretty specific command. And I don't use that a ton anyway, so saying that one extra word for this case is not a big deal. But we're going to type it in up here, toggle putter, and that is key press. That is the shortcut is U. So again, you just press it on the keyboard, okay, and press apply, press done. And now, again, GSPro isn't pulled up, but if I go through and now I give myself like a second here in between talking, if I say any of these now, it'll start showing that green again you see on screen. So all these as I'm talking are all unrecognized. And even if I say some of the words like I mentioned when I was showing you guys in the beginning part, like if I happen to mix in the word reset or mulligan in the middle of this, or I say like aim left, aim right, um, it's picking up my entire sentence in the stream of words. So it's not so sensitive where if you happen to say one thing, if you're just mentioning a comment or you're talking to someone and you happen to say one of these individual words, it's not so accurate and so sensitive where it'll start making your GSPro go crazy. But I can go through and I'll just do a couple of these to show you guys that they'll start going through successfully. Map, reset, T left. Again, I'm getting an error message just because GSPro is not pulled up. These would specifically be going over to GSPro. And again, the whole reason why I mentioned with the options up here with the profile to have it only set to GSPro, just in case I'm doing like a screen recording thing here. If any of these things happen to just be on the active window, it could make certain things go haywire. So I do highly recommend changing this and selecting just your GSPro program. I think that works really well. But I think that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I went over the system administrator. You guys want to do that voice training, I can show you that one more time just to how to get into it. So again, that's settings, recognition, this I thing right here on top, speech engine, system default, you click the I, and then it's right here. Click here to go to Windows Speech Recognition Training Utility. I'll probably do that one or two more times just so I can make the program as good as it can possibly be. I'm just looking through some of my notes I have written down over here. So you want to train that a couple times. I went over the GSPro window only. I showed you guys the screenshot for the commands. Again, if you want to see that one more time quickly, I can show you. If I showed that at the beginning, if you just want to screenshot this, that may be a better way to do it, or you can just pause the video, but I'll find a way to kind of attach this picture somewhere so maybe you have it up on your phone as you're doing it and you can easily see what each one should be. But I think that's about it. I showed you guys the runtime desktop thing, which I wasn't sure which one to do there. And besides that, you guys should be good to go, and it should work as good as it did for me live streaming on GSPro. If you guys are curious, you guys will be seeing this video tomorrow. I'm recording this on Thursday. You'll be seeing this on Friday. If you want to see me use it in action while I'm actually playing GSPro, it was the super secret No Pros League was the live stream. Something along those lines was the title. And I was using this voice attack program to control GSPro throughout it. So if you want to see it in action, maybe you're not sure how good it actually works, that was the very first time I used it, and everything seemed to work pretty good if I just happen to give myself like a second between talking to a sentence and then doing an individual command. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, let me know down in the comments if you think you may use this, if you think it's cool. If you have a control box, maybe you're going to use this instead or in addition to the control box. Personally, I'm going to be using this for the foreseeable future and still have my wireless keyboard and my wireless mouse out in the garage as I'm playing. So if I need to click around, if I want to aim very, very precisely for putting, I think the keyboard and the mouse are still really good. And to me, this is as good, if not better, than a control box. But if you have one of them, more power to you. For this, for being free for 20 commands, I think it's a worthwhile thing. And again, if you want to spend the $10 to get really sophisticated, to have it to double click to start a program, so I kind of mentioned it before, but you can have it as sophisticated to where you can train it to have your mouse go and click on like practice range. So if you put in a command, say practice range, you can train it to where on your screen it'll follow and figure out the exact coordinates of where to click, and it'll start anything you want. So you could do like online tournament, you could do local match, you could even do a specific course. You could have it click on local play, you could have it type in for a course, you could click the play. Really, the possibilities are endless. And Triple Bogey and Whiskey Rich, they have some pretty complicated commands that they have that seem to work well. Again, I won't be doing it, but you can really go down the rabbit hole with stuff like this. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you have any specific questions, this is only day number 2 for me doing it. So hopefully if you run into any issues, maybe I'll be able to help you. Hopefully I can. But I think we just walk through here, and you guys should be able to get a pretty good idea. It's not anything crazy complicated where you have to do any kind of coding or anything like that. So let me know down in the comments what you think, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. And like always, shout out to the members. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.